Camden. 3 locations in Camden, Big Sandy and Brewston. Today's program after this.
For more than 85 years, Apex Bank of Camden has built a tradition of local people serving local people. Although there have been changes over the years, this one thing remains the same. Hometown people that are your friends serving you every day to meet your financial needs. We want to see you grow and prosper. And when you ever have a need, you'll get personal attention right here at home, not in some far-off corporate office. Number 1 in customer service. Apex Bank of Camden, Benton County's best bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Operation 7570 on this Saturday morning. A little overcast, a little cool temperatures outside. Not real bad, but we're glad that you're spending some of your Saturday morning with us this morning on Operation 7570. And right off the bat, I want to remind you that if you're looking for a good breakfast this morning, going out to Camden Central High School in the cafeteria, Lions Club pancake breakfast going on between now and 10 o'clock this morning, I believe. All you can eat, pancakes, sausage, orange juice, coffee, whatever, $5. So go out and support the Lions Club and all the great things that they do within Camden and Benton County. Well, today in our studios, we have a longtime friend, a man that has spent some time up here in the early days of WRJB Radio's history, spun some records back in the day, did a little yard work, mowed the yard every 4 or 5 days, according to John Latham. He said he didn't do a good job, made him go back and do that. But this man, he's been involved with a lot. You may know him, and we're going to talk this morning about his role as president of the Strawberry Festival coming up next week in Humboldt, Tennessee. And we're also going to talk to him about the Boy Scouts. He's a big Boy Scout individual, does a lot with West Tennessee Boy Scouts, particularly up at Camp McMorris. It's a pleasure to have Shane Leach in our studios today. Shane, welcome, my friend. Good to see you.
Good to see you, as always.
Does this bring back old memories being here in this building?
It does.
You were here in the early days and all that. But Charlie Baylor and others back then.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got a Charlie story or two.
Oh, I've got several Charlie stories.
Some we'll save those for another day. But great to have you with us today. And you have been so busy. I mean, you were busy when you were a young man growing up, worked at various jobs here in Camden, graduated from Camden Central High School. But you take us beyond that, Shane. What is your background? I know we've got some audience persons listening to us, watching us, may not be familiar with Shane Lynch, but just who is Shane Lynch and what are you doing today?
Well, of course, I went to school here and graduated. My parents were Lyndall and Nancy Lynch. My dad had a service station, was a rural letter carrier here, and my mother even worked here at WRJB at one time and selling advertising. She worked at other places. She was mainly a stay-at-home mom, though, taking care of us. But I grew up here, graduated high school, went to Union University, graduated from Union, taught school in Memphis for about 10 years, taught school in Humboldt for about 4 years, and taught school in University School at Jackson for 14 years. Got into the appraisal business. You either marry into it or you're born into it, and my wife's father was an appraiser, so I started in that field, and I have my own company, Humphreys Associates. I serve on the Board of Aldermen for the city of Humboldt, and I've even got an antique store, okay? We're open a couple of days a week, but and currently I am the president of the 85th Strawberry Festival.
Well, congratulations on that. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on, but you also did some Camden City pool work back in the day. You was out there a couple of summers, I believe.
I was a lifeguard there and then managed the pool for several years. Best job I ever had. The guy was managing the city park pool in Camden.
Of course, you know some of our city officials up here in the town of Camden, Mayor Pafford, some members of the board. So what's it like now in this time, 2023, what's it like for small towns, municipalities to try to, get out there and be progressive and move forward as we go into the next decade or so?
Well, it's kind of hard to break some of the old habits, that's for sure, and lots of things are coming in the Humboldt area. Of course, we have Tyson, who came in a couple of years ago. FedEx has just built a new state-of-the-art facility,
right.
And then
distribution center, whatever.
Blue Oval City's coming in, and we're in that 90-minute area from Blue Oval City, and we're seeing more construction, we're seeing new houses. Our infrastructure, something we're going to have to work on, and getting money. Nobody wants to pay taxes or more taxes. And so we're looking for grants and those type of things to make things better.
Exactly. Just things that City of Camden is doing right now. And of course, we just had about 10 days ago, Chamber of Commerce involved with it up here, City of Camden, County of Benton, had some officials up here from the Tennessee Department of Tourism to see what you can do to bring more tourists to your local area, and I'm sure you're working on those things down in Gibson County, Humboldt.
We're going to have something during the festival dealing with tourism.
All right, we'll talk about that. But I want to spend a few moments this morning talking about your history as a Boy Scout leader in Camp McMorris. So back as a young Shane Lynch, how did you get involved with Boy Scouts here, and what was Boy Scouts like back in those days?
Well, I remember when I started, Vivian Gallion was my Cub Scout den mother, and Lester Bishop was the Cub Master. And I don't know, my brother was in Scouts. I was always, enamored by him being in Scouts and the things you got to do. And so I got in the Scouts. And if I make it to August Flash, I will have been a Scout for 55 continuous years.
Congratulations,
And,
congratulations.
But Charlie Brown was the Scout Master here for Troop 72. And, I made Charlie a promise, and you didn't make Charlie promises you weren't going to keep. And I told Charlie, I said, if I ever get the chance, I'll, be a Scout Master. And so I've been a Scout Master. I now serve on the Executive Board for the West Tennessee Area Council.
Yeah, now, didn't you tell me at one time, Shane, like we had 3 Benton Countyans who maybe were some of the first to be awarded the Eagle Scout in the whole state of Tennessee?
We did, and it's and they've got a real close tie to Camp McMorris. Wayne L. Hall Jr. and Dr. Lou Darty Jr. and Thomas Melton were the first 3 Eagle Scouts after World War II here in Camden. They were the first 3 in the council after World War II.
Wow, great history there, great history.
And, of course, Dr. Darty's father and Wayne L. Hall's father held the note for Camp McMorris when we bought camp.
Well, I want Camp McMorris, that's one of my talking points this morning with you. It's up off of Birdsong. What is the founding? How did Camp McMorris come to be placed here in Benton County? What's its history, my friend?
Well, the Western Tennessee Area Council bought on Birdsong Creek. It had its first beginning there in June of 1946, I believe. Camp was in season, a total of 6 weeks that year. We had 500 Boy Scouts show up in 22 towns and 18 counties in West Tennessee. There were no permanent structures. There was all the buildings were under canvas. They were all the old Army canvas tents. And we dug a well, and that was the only source of water at Camp McMorris. Scotty Carlisle was the first camp director, and Bruce Fales was the assistant camp director when it started. We're very fortunate to have Camp McMorris here. A lot of Scout camps have fell by the wayside, but our camp is still going strong. We had a dedication for the camp in 1947, so there's some debate whether the camp actually started in 46 or 47, but we did have campers in 46, and in 47 we had our ceremony dedicating the new camp.
Back in those days, back in the early days, it was camping the way camping was supposed to be, I'm sure.
Well, and it's still pretty much
Yes.
the same way. We do have tent floors now and sleep on cots rather than on the ground. But the camp has come a long way. We've got a lot of nice buildings there. There's a dining hall that was completed in 1947. That dining hall is now kind of I'd say a historical memorabilia museum. A lot of people have come and camped there and made little signs or left T-shirts or left their mark on the building in some form or fashion. And we built a new dining hall, and that new dining hall is, of course, air conditioned and not like the old days where you had the big fans running and it was hot. But camp it's a great place.
Are you getting to the point in the season right now, the point on the calendar where you're really fixing to pick up and have a busy signal here?
Oh, yes.
Busy time, I'm sorry.
Next weekend, they'll the Order of the Arrow, which is the honor group of Scouts, kind of like the Beta Club of school, I guess. But the OA will meet next weekend and start preparing camp, putting up tents and getting things together, cleaning up, and then we'll do about 4 weeks of camp.
Okay, 4 weeks of camping. Is the camp utilized beyond what I call typical camping weeks? Is it utilized for other purposes now?
Oh, yes. We have a COPE course, which is a challenging outdoor personal experience. It's a ropes course, and lots of groups do it, not just Scouts. I know a lot of the leadership courses within counties come and do the ropes course. It's builds trust, works with people. A lot of companies come and use it. You'd be surprised that companies that come down and use the camp. You can rent the camp. We've just built some new concrete structures for Tent City. That's where the staff stays, and we call it Tent City. These are some new buildings. Instead of the staff having to stay in tents all summer, now they can stay in a nice little air-conditioned building.
Who is the governing body of Camp McMorris?
That would be the West Tennessee Area Council.
Okay.
And the West Tennessee Area Council covers every county in West Tennessee except for Shelby. Shelby County is in Chickasaw Council.
Okay.
And we service 22 councils.
Now, if a person
22 counties.
would like to make a contribution and have it designated for Camp McMorris, can they do that?
Yes, they can. They just have to call the Scout office in Jackson, and they're located at 1995 Hollywood Drive, and speak to our council executive or any of the secretaries there at camp, and we'd be glad to take care of you.
Now, is there someone that stays on the premises the year round, even when you're not having camping season? Is there someone that's on the grounds at all times?
There is. We have a gentleman, and his name is Scotty Scott. And Scotty Scott is our camp ranger, and he's there working all the time, lives on the camp.
And the maintenance, there's maintenance maintenance efforts I'm sure goes on, even, of course, you're getting busy, ready for the camping season, but maintenance efforts go on 12 months out of the year, don't they?
Oh, yes, of course. You've always got weather that comes through, maybe a tree falls, or you got to, clean up things, make sure things are working, keep the pipes from freezing in the winter, so there's always something to do at Camp McMorris.
Well, speaking in that regard, the big cold snap that we had around Christmas, the storms that we've had, all these storms, 3 or 4 storms that's come through, done some damages. Was Camp McMorris affected by any of those weather elements?
Well, we were lucky that we didn't have any frozen pipes. We did have some trees down in the weather, but of course, with scouts, we can get rid of that wood pretty quick.
I know that you can. I know that you can. Well, when you start out in scouting, Shane, bring us through Cub Scouts and all the way up, and how far can an individual go with scouting?
Well, we start with the Cub Scout program, and Cub Scouts start with first grade basically, and then you can go into Webelos, which is kind of a transitional period from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts. Matter of fact, talking about using the camp, this weekend is family camp at Camp McMorris, and there's about 400 people there this weekend for family camp. But anyway, you go through Webelos, which is We Be Loyal Scouts is what that means. And then, of course, from there you transition into Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts has several programs. There's one, you may remember the old Explorer Post. I think here in Camden we had a police Explorer Post at one time, and had a medical Explorer Post. I remember Dr. Hicks was involved with the Explorer Post years ago. And then there's also venturing, and venturing is a co-ed. It starts at 16 and goes to 21. But as far as Boy Scouts, yes, you've heard the girls are in the Scouts now. Well, just so you know, the girls have always been in the Scouts. Matter of fact, one of the founders of the Boy Scouts here asked the Lowe lady to start something for girls because girls were using their initials to join the Boy Scouts and keeping their hair under a hat or whatever. But anyway, we do have girls in Scouts. It's not co-ed. It's either an all-girls troop or all-boys troop. And it would be up to the chartering organization how they would handle that.
Is there an active, I know there is, but in case anybody here in Benton County, Camden is interested in getting in the Scout program, is there a local contact here for scouting?
Troop 72 is still here, and I can't call the guy's name, but anyway, the troop is still here. They were meeting at the Presbyterian Church, and as far as I know, they still are. But scouting's been here. Well, Troop 72 is over 50 years old.
Of course, I guess back in your day, Old Nazarene Church, that was a meeting basement up there, maybe First Baptist at one time.
Well, there were actually two troops here at one time.
Okay.
There was Troop 71 and Troop 72.
Okay. And I believe I have seen scouts here in the past that they've worked, maybe with our friends with the American Legion, maybe on Memorial Day, maybe to place flags on veterans' graves at local cemeteries. Outstanding project.
We do that every year. Of course, the Scouts do projects throughout the year. Well, when a boy goes to get his Eagle or girl goes to get their Eagle Scout, they do a project. My project years ago was to check the road signs around town, make sure that they weren't missing or whatever, and some of them had been painted on, and kind of messed up. So I'll never forget, I had to go before the city board, and we ordered $6,000 worth of street signs to put up around Camden. They were either missing or whatever. We did the stop signs a little higher than usual to keep people from painting on them. There were a couple of places where people wanted to paint on them, and so it was, it's a unique experience for a young man to show leadership skills. And I remember my Uncle Ted would drive me around to all these different street corners to take pictures, whether there was a sign there or not. And
That must have been in the days before you could have instant pictures on your phone.
that was when you had to take the picture and you had to take it to the store and get the film developed and wait and hope the pictures came back perfect. And
Yeah. Well, what is the age group that Scouts serve?
Boy Scout starts at age 11
Okay.
and goes to 18.
Okay.
And Order the Arrow, which is a honor group within the Scouts, it goes from 16 to 21.
Yeah.
And
And we've had some Scouts, of course, you've been on many camporees, jamborees, of course, with the Scouting organization, and we've had some individuals, you mentioned 3 a while ago, we've had some great Scouts here in the past that have gone a long way in the Scouting program.
Oh, yes.
Into some great festivals and
Well,
jamborees.
one of our local attorneys, John Whitworth, is an Eagle Scout. And matter of fact, talking about jamborees and things, I'll be attending the National Jamboree in July of this year. I'm not taking a group of boys this time. I'm going to work staff. I'm going to work in the trading post. But I've been 5 National Jamborees and 1 World Jamboree. And
What did your experience in Scouting, Shane, and you're still involved with Scouting, do a great deal, what has your Scouting experience done to help you in the other endeavors that you've done, whether it's school teaching, being a member of the Humboldt City Council, or president of the Strawberry Festival? How have the things you learned in Scouting helped you with these type of things?
I don't know how I would have ever made it without Scouting. I have a little story I'd like to tell
Sure.
you about that. My wife and I and my son, we were in Colorado one time, and I was trying to cash a check. And if you've ever been out of state trying to cash a check, it's unreal, and they were asking me for this ID and that ID. And in the process, I was pulling out things out of my billfold, and my Eagle Scout card fell out of my billfold. Now, that wasn't on purpose, but it did fall out, and the guy saw it, and he said, "Are you an Eagle Scout?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "I'll take that check." And he didn't know me from Adam, but he knew what an Eagle Scout was. And I'll never forget, my son said, "Daddy, that's better than American Express."
Don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home.
But I've gotten to do things, go places. I know when I was in college and stuff, I always thought that my fraternity brothers and stuff would be friends I'd keep for life. Well, the friends I keep for life are Scouters. No matter where you are, if you come in contact with a Scout, we share the same morals and values, and Scouters are true friends.
And now, as an adult leader, it's very rewarding for you, I'm sure, to see the youngsters come into the Scouting program and go and be responsible young adults. And I'm sure you've
Yes.
had a lot of experiences like that and seen these kids, Again, I'm sure you've had some kids, what on earth are you doing here? But yet, really pleasantly surprised as they get older and mature.
I was a Scoutmaster for several years. I had Troop 102 in Jackson, and I have 22 Eagle Scouts under my belt, and I think that's a great accomplishment. They've done well, my son being one of those.
Fantastic. Is there a place, we're going to have to take a break and we'll switch gears and talk about the Strawberry Festival, but Shane, is there a place up on Facebook, up on the World Wide Web, we can find more about the Scouting program, particularly here in West Tennessee?
The West Tennessee Area Council has a, I guess, I don't know that there's a Facebook page, but there is an internet site.
Sure,
And,
website, yes.
The website would give you ways to donate, ways to join. You can even pinpoint where troops are, get names, contact information, events that are coming up, and things of that nature. But it's West Tennessee Area Council.
All right. Well, good information right there, and I appreciate Shane Lynch being live in our studios this morning to talk about the Scouts. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break for our friends at Apex Bank, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a big festival coming up this coming week in West Tennessee down at Humboldt. We'll talk about the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. Stay with us.
Apex Bank of Camden, proudly serving the Benton County community since 1931. In recent years, through growth and expansion, we've taken that same local community spirit into other markets. Today, with over 20,000 customers across Tennessee, our business philosophy remains the same. Local people making local decisions, serving our friends and customers, and investing in the communities that we serve. Here for you yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Apex Bank of Camden, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Operation 7570 this morning. In our studios is Shane Lynch, native of Camden, Benton County, Tennessee, graduate of CHS, former disc jockey up here at WRJB, now doing great things in the city of Humboldt, Tennessee, down in Gibson County. One of the titles that he has is president of the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival that's coming up this week. So Shane, my first question to you, how does a young man get from being a DJ in the old days at WRJB to being president of the Strawberry Festival? How does that happen?
I guess they caught me at a weak moment. I've served as general chairman last year for the Strawberry Festival, and then after general chairman, you move into the position of president. And so I'm the president of the 85th Strawberry Festival, West Tennessee Strawberry Festival.
85th Strawberry Festival, West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. What about the history of this great event?
Well, it began in 1934, what we call this masterpiece of 85 years. You know, we only closed down for two things, and that's war and COVID. But it's the only time we have not had the festival. But it survived all kinds of weather, war, COVID, but it's a testament to our community and the work ethic and the tenacity of the people in town. It was started to try to bring revenue into the town in the 30s. It was, of course, the Depression era, and it was designed, it was a 2-day festival when it started. And it was basically to show off the berries, the box companies that made boxes to ship them in the shipping area. And started off as a 2-day festival. Now we're 7 days.
Now, with that history, with this being the 85th Strawberry Festival, how does that rank when you put it up, against our friends from Paris with the fish fry, soybean festival down at Martin, banana festival, I guess? How does this rank as far as age and seniority?
We are the granddaddy of them all.
Okay.
We are the longest running continuous festival in the state of Tennessee. And, of course, we're the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. Paris is the Paris Fish Fry, and the Fulton Banana Festival, and the Dresden Irish Festival, and the Trenton Teapot. We are the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival.
I think at one time, I don't know if it's still in existence, I think down in Bradford they had what was known as the
Doodle
Doodle
soup.
Soup. They still do that.
They still do
Okay,
some doodle
wow.
soup. Yeah, they sure do.
West Tennessee likes festivals, don't they?
We do like our festivals, and they're all, we just, the Fish Fry, of course, the parade was yesterday in Paris, and we participated in that parade. And Teapot Festival is coming up this week in Trenton, and it will end with its parade next Saturday, a week from today. And then the Strawberry Festival will start the following Sunday on May the 7th.
Now, I know as far as activities, and we'll talk about activities coming up this week, people want to take advantage of down in Humboldt, but I know you have pageants that are around, and the Fiddler's Contest pageant, which I guess is in March. Of course, the Fiddler's Contest up there 2 weeks ago, but it's what I call a territorial pageant for the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. What does that mean, and what are territorial pageants, and where they fit into your project? Yeah.
We have several pageants. We only have 2 territorials. One of them is Teen Territorial, and then the Territorial Princess. Those, you have to be queen in another pageant to be able to be in our pageant. And it's open to all contestants in West Tennessee. And the territorial review, both territorial reviews are Saturday night. That's really how I got into the festival. Was I was the MC for the territorial festival, or territorial review, for several years, and hope. They tell me that once my term ends as president, I can go back to being the MC, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I was going to ask, in your title now as president of the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival, would it continue in that same capacity next year? But you'll still be involved with some way.
I'll be involved in some way. I'll just be a past president.
Okay.
I know, talking about the territorial review, I was looking through some of my mother's things, and I found where my mother and father were judges for the territorial review back in 1964. Mm-hmm. And the lady who won, her name's Judy Granning. I still see her and know her in it's kind of amazing. I found all that stuff and took it to her. She really thought that was neat to see that my parents were judges for that.
Yeah. And I'm sure some of the young ladies who are in your pageants, the territorial pageants, or the other activities, the other events that you have, it is not a preliminary to Miss Tennessee Volunteer, but some of these young ladies, they go ahead and compete in those pageants, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
But we are not a preliminary to Miss Tennessee or Miss Volunteer. We're kind of when you get to us, that's the end.
Yeah.
But we really like to take care of our young ladies. We have a city tour. We go to several parades. You just talked about the Soybean Festival. We participate in that with our royalty, and we make them feel like royalty for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you get good support from Humboldt, Gibson County surrounding area? Do you get good support for the Strawberry Festival?
This festival would not take place without volunteers. We get, of course, the schools let out in Gibson County on Thursday and Friday for our parade days, and they all participate. Every 4 years, we do a mass band, which is made up of all the high school bands in Gibson County. We bring them together for a mass band. You may have seen last year the mass band was in the Rose Bowl.
Yes, I saw that.
From Gibson County. And so we'll do a mass band again, I think, year after next. But we get good participation. I've been passing out the little magazines in every store or anywhere people stop, and everybody is receptive. They're like, "Oh, we can't wait for the Strawberry Festival."
Well, you mentioned the mass bands and how all those bands come together, and you've had some band experience, of course, and it just amazes me. And of course, Bethel Renaissance Choir, I think, is a great example as well. You have all these voices and how they all just blend together, and how the instructors will work to bring that great sound. Of course, individuals by themselves are great, but you've got a different sound when you bring all those
We
together.
do.
That takes some work to put all those sounds to make it just like it should
It
be, to
does.
make it good. And get them to where they can compete in the things like the Rose Bowl.
Well, my senior year, Camden Marching Lions won the Strawberry Festival and the Fish Fry. So we were pretty excited to win first in both of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Board of Directors for the Strawberry Festival and governing body, of course. And I would imagine as soon as the event is over, you're already looking a few days afterwards. The committee may get together and say, "Hey, how can we think it was successful, but how can we even make it better next year?" You do things like that.
Oh, yes. Well, when last year ended, I was general chairman, so I got one day off. The festival ended on Saturday, and on Monday morning, I was on the phone trying to get things together. I was trying to get the Budweiser Clydesdales. They'll be in the parade on Friday, in the Grand Floats Parade, and it took a year to basically get that together. I've been working with T.G. Shepard. He'll be our parade marshal. Of course, TG is a hometown boy. His name was Billy Browder, and we're glad to have him coming to Humboldt to serve as our parade grand marshal.
Yeah. Saw you over there when he was over at the Dixie a couple of months back, and you approached him with that, and he seemed very excited. He seemed very excited about doing that.
We had been talking for a while, and I kind of put him on the spot there, and he agreed to come and be our parade marshal, he and his wife, Kelly.
Let's go ahead, Shane. Let's just talk about maybe some schedule of events. If people want to make the trip this coming week from Camden down to Humboldt, Gibson County, what are they in store for? What's the schedule look like?
Well, we start off next Sunday, which would be May the 7th. Our first event is an invitation-only art show, and we start off with the art show. And later that day, we have the Berry Tea. It's a tea for little girls and their moms. It starts at age 3 and goes up. And sold out in 15 minutes, just so you know that people want to be at that. And that's a new event that we added last year. That's all that happens on Sunday. And then Monday, we kick off with opening celebration Monday night. We have, starts at 5:30, it'll be food. The event really starts at 6. There'll be face painting and cotton candy. And we have the Navy Band coming in. This is a 9-piece brass band called Uncharted Waters. And they'll come and play at opening ceremonies. They're going to play earlier that morning at the high school, Humboldt High School, for the kids, and then they'll play Monday night at opening ceremonies. Then we end opening ceremonies with fireworks. Let me back up a little bit. We start Monday morning with a prayer breakfast, and prayer breakfast is held at the hospital there in Humboldt, and our speaker is Bill Kisner. Bill was youth director at First Baptist in Humboldt when I first moved there, and Bill's been a very good friend of mine, and he'll be speaking at the prayer breakfast. So that's all Monday. Tuesday we have our own, American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have Barry Idol.
Okay. All right.
And we had our preliminaries back in April. Had several contestants, and we've narrowed it down to 15 contestants. So those 15 will compete on Tuesday night to be the Barry Idol. Those that qualify in that event will go to the Mid-South Fair to compete. And Wednesday, we shut down Main Street, and we have Music on Main. We also have a Hall of Fame. We have 4 candidates going into the Hall of Fame this year. Some of people around here probably will know Junior Reed. Junior Reed went to Humboldt High School, played football at the University of Tennessee, played with our own Thomas Rousey.
That's
They
true,
played
yes.
together.
Back in the mid-'70s, I guess.
And Junior will be inducted to the Hall of Fame, as well as Jan Stallings, who's a doctor in around the Nashville area. And then we have 2 that are posthumous. One of them is B.C. Gerald. He started the box company, basically barrel company and things in Humboldt. And right now I can't remember the 4th one. But we'll have a Hall of Fame. Our own Paula Bridges from here at Camden will be playing Wednesday night at the Music on Main. And Danny Wade's wife is from Camden, and they're the Bandstand Review, and they'll be playing Wednesday night. Thursday is our hand pull parade. Everything in the parade, there's nothing motorized. All the floats are pulled, and bicycles, things of that nature, carts, horses, those things. And then Thursday night we shut down Main Street again, and we have the band 12th South out of Nashville coming to play, and they were there last year. Everybody really liked them, so I brought them back this year. And then Friday, of course, is our Grand Floats Parade, and it kicks off at 10 o'clock on the dot. And right now we've got 186 entries in the parade, so it's gonna be a great parade.
It's going to take a while to get through.
It'll take a while. There'll be 40,000 people down Main Street to see the parade. People have already. Last night I drove through town, and people had already started staking off places for their chairs for the parade, and it's kind of a fun event to watch people, come and put their signs up to, the Melton family or whoever, picking out their spots. And then, of course, Friday night we have a cornhole tournament, and we also have pageants that night. Saturday, and we have a horse show, walking horse show, and then Saturday we have a fun run, a 5K and a 10K, and we have a tractor show and a car show. So there's something for everybody.
Do you have a carnival like the Fish Fry does?
We do have a carnival. It opens up on Tuesday. We moved the carnival to downtown several years ago, and so everything's right there together. The carnival's right on Main Street, and it opens on Tuesday. There's a couple of nights where you can buy a bracelet and ride, but yeah, and food vendors are everywhere. We have all kinds of food vendors. Matter of fact, this year we've taken the parking lot in front of the senior citizens, and we're trying to relieve some congestion and traffic on Main Street. So we've moved some vendors there. We have the ice cream cabin. Place I've seen their line from here to the Court Square. People would stand in line for the ice cream. It's really good. And there's a grilled cheese guy who will be there, and they even deep fry strawberries.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Pope Concessions out of Greenfield.
I'm familiar with Pope.
James Roy Pope is James Roy Pope's family has been a part of the festival longer than anybody. I think they came starting at about the 4th festival and have been there ever since. Of course, they're well known for their fiddlesticks.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You better believe it. Funnel cakes. Hey, if Popes don't have it, you don't need it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And whatever food you want, it's all up and down Main Street. The vendors start coming in. Matter of fact, they'll start coming in next Friday and setting up. So we'll have all kinds of vendors.
Oh well, look at there, look at there. John Phillips. You know Mr. John Phillips from the Lions Club? He's brought us some pancakes. It
That'll
looks
work.
like. That's fantastic pancake.
My
Look
dad
at
was
here. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Hey, John, come on in. What have you got here, my friend?
Yeah, I like
Oh.
just about
Well, I appreciate that. Do you know Shane Lynch? Shane Lynch from Camden, lives down in Humboldt now. Mr. John
Okay.
Phillips with the Lions Club.
My dad was a past president of the Lions Club.
Oh, okay.
Lyndall Lynch then.
Lyndall Lynch.
Okay, well, let me get up here just a moment. Let me have John come on around here just a minute, and John, sit down here just a minute, my friend. Get over here, and I know you've got to get back out there, but I've just had on my text this morning, I had some people that already visited out there, and they said the pancakes are wonderful today. So tell me how long you'll be going this morning. How long will you be going out there with the
We
pancakes?
will be open till 10 o'clock. We'll be serving till 10 o'clock this
Okay.
morning. So we've got plenty of pancakes, plenty of sausage, milk, orange juice. So if you need breakfast, we're probably the cheapest place around.
$5 for all
yes.
you can eat.
All
Why-
you can
yeah.
eat, yes.
Why do the Lions Club why do they do this, John? Why do they do this twice a year?
Well, it's promoting the club for one thing, and I guess the other thing, it's kind of enjoyable getting to meet different, people you haven't seen in a while. It's it's a good experience.
Good fellowship,
Yeah.
good group out there. Are the Leos out there today?
Oh,
The Leo bunch?
absolutely. We've got a good bunch of Leos.
Look a here. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I've got that up there, but man, John, that looks good.
That looks like Randy Shannon's pancakes.
Randy
he-
Shannon pancake, all right.
He has really improved in his pancake cooking.
Well, I'm sure it's delicious. And Shane and I can't wait to get into it then.
So if you need breakfast this morning, we will certainly be glad to serve you. We're at the high school cafeteria.
John, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Always great to see you.
All right.
I'll try to get out there in a bit, my friend. Okay, all right. That door right over there. And we'll bring-
I don't want to trip over the wall.
I understand that. We appreciate you. Just Luke will open the door and wow.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
All right, thank you. John Phillips from the Camden Lions Club and the Lions Club Pancake Breakfast will go until 10 o'clock out at Camden Central High School, the lunchroom out there. And of course, $5 for all you can eat. That's a nice interruption. I don't mind an interruption like that.
Anytime there's food, I'm.
You got it.
I've never missed a meal. I may have postponed a few, but I've never missed one.
Yeah. Ironic that we were talking about food with Pope's concessions when this comes in, as a matter of
That's
fact, then, on it. Now, if a person's coming to the parade on that Friday, Shane, if they're coming from Camden, I know you'll have some folks coming from Camden, they don't need to leave at 8 o'clock coming to Humboldt to get in position to see the parade, do they?
Well, unless they want to look at it from about 5 blocks away. Parking is at a premium, and there are lots of city parking lots and businesses that allow you to park. And some people, have people parking in the yards, but you need to get there early because it fills up quick. I know we have a breakfast that morning for our royalty at 7 o'clock, and I know last year there were probably 500 people sitting on the side of Main Street waiting for the parade to begin at 10, and it was 7 in the morning. So they get there and get there early.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Now, do you do anything like, I don't know if this might be the proper term, but some governor's luncheon or
We
something
do.
like
We have,
that after the parade?
After the parade, we have a governor's luncheon, and the governor will be there. He will not be at the parade, but he will be there for the governor's luncheon. And after the governor's luncheon, I told you earlier that T.G. Shepard is our parade marshal. He is also receiving the Tennessee Pathways. We were talking about tourism, and they'll be dedicating a sign to T.G. Shepard there at our green space on Main Street and Central.
Well
That occurs
deserved,
at
well
2:30.
deserved for TG. Great entertainer.
And of course, we're the 12th will be May the 12th will be T.G. Shepard Day in Humboldt. We have a proclamation, and we also will be naming a street after T.G. Shepard. It will be T.G. Shepard Way. And I found out that he was the only person in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame that didn't have a street named after him in his hometown. So, as alderman, I worked to get that done.
He may even sing a verse or two of a party time, because it's going to be party time down there, isn't it?
Well, the song he did best on, or makes the most money on, is best thing about waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Folgers in your cup, yeah, yeah.
So everybody's heard that song.
They have. They sure have, yeah. He's a great entertainer. If you
He is.
haven't seen TG, you need to see him. As a matter of fact, love to hear him on stage singing somewhere. But he's got some great stories. And Elvis, I think, gave him his first bus,
Gave him his first tour bus. He did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he left Humboldt, ran away from home, and went to Memphis, and ended up being friends. Elvis kind of took him in and took care of him, and gave him his first tour bus. And matter of fact, told him to start singing his own songs instead of writing them for other people. And but he's going to be playing in Jackson, I think, in the fall sometime.
Oh, okay. We'll look that up. Then I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but he was over at the Dixie. I guess the first time I saw him over at the Dixie, around 10 years ago. Then I was doing a radio interview with him and that sort of thing, and I said, "I got to tell you this story." He says, "I used to be a police dispatcher all night long, listen to all the country radio stations. There was a country music radio station out of Cincinnati, Ohio, had great truckers music all night long for the truckers out there. So 800 number, and I called it up. I didn't think the guy would answer the phone. Thought he had somebody to help, but it was the actual DJ. He went by the name of the Bozo. And so I told him, I said, "Appreciate your music." He said, "Where you calling from?" I said, "You've never heard of it. Little town called Camden, Tennessee." He said, "Camden?" He says, "I'm from Humboldt, Tennessee, and I played in the band with T.G. Shepherd down there." And I thought, wow, so small world.
It is a small world.
It is, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, but I mean, this is going to be a great event, and in case people have never been to Humboldt, I'm sure you would extend the open welcome arms out to anybody that wants to come down there and
Of
enjoy
course.
this, or any other time besides just West
Anytime,
Tennessee.
come see us in Humboldt. Lots of things happening there. We've got lots of businesses. The coffee shop on Main Street. We've got a candy bank. Okay, if they don't have the candy you want, it's not in existence. But they have all kinds of candy. I've got an antique store down there. My wife has a yoga studio. We have lots of things happening in Humboldt. I do want to mention the parade one more time on Friday. We have at the Grand Floats Parade, we have the Budweiser Clydesdales will be there. And they're magnificent horses if you haven't seen them before up close. Get there early because they'll get there about 7 in the morning and start getting the horses together. And we also have the Navy Band, Uncharted Waters, that'll be marching in the parade, as well as lots of local bands. Our contestants for all the pageants will be in the parade. Lots of dignitaries, lots of floats, and I like to say bands, beauties, and berries.
The three B's.
The three
Three
Bs.
B's, yeah. And let's see, I appreciate the fact that on the nice program, the Strawberry Festival program, you brought me here with a cover. Sure glad they didn't put the president of the Strawberry Festival's picture on the cover.
You're exactly right.
You're on the inside, though.
I'm
so
on the
great.
inside.
Yeah, you're on the great, and we appreciate you so very much. And Shane, why do you do all you do? You don't have to get involved with all these community projects. You were involved with projects with Camden when you were here. Great leader down in the town of Humboldt. Why do you get involved with everything?
Well, I like to help people. I guess that comes from my scouting, that we do things to make our community better. And you can't fuss, you can't gripe if you don't step in to try to do something. And I hope that I make things better.
There is a place, I don't care, there's a place for everybody in every community. There's something you can do for the good of your community and serve others.
You're exactly right.
I think that's the motto of the Lions Club. We serve. And I think, those two words, you can do anything. You may think you're not making a difference, but in some way you are.
Well, it's just like, the Boy Scouts, our mottos are be prepared and do a good turn daily. And I try to do a good turn every day. And
Well, you do. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you for making the trip this morning from Humboldt. And do you have a closing word for our radio audience today?
come see us at the 85th West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. It's a masterpiece of fun.
And I'm sure you've got a Facebook page, a
We do.
website to go to.
We got a
for Strawberry.
website, which is strawberryfestivaltn.com and myfestival.com.
Okay.
And there's a Facebook page also.
And yeah, that's right. And of course, we use the term Strawberry Festival, of course, but we want to emphasize West Tennessee
West
Strawberry.
Tennessee.
Because there is another one up in
There
Portland,
is in
Tennessee.
Portland,
Yes.
and it happens the same week as ours
Really?
this year.
Oh, wow.
That happens every once in a while. They happen the same week. And there are several strawberry festivals around, but we are the oldest and longest running.
85 years and still going strong.
85 years and going strong.
And the only time that you had to cancel pandemic and during the war?
World War II.
Okay. Shane, always a pleasure. You're always welcome here, and we look forward maybe to being down there some.
All right, I hope to see you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Shane Lynch, our guest this morning on Operation 7570. Thank you so much for being with us. Our thanks to Shane, and keep in mind the things that he talked about this morning. We thank our friends at Apex Bank. We thank Luke Crutchfield in the other studios. And again, folks, if you're interested in a good breakfast this morning to help a good cause, go out to Camden Central High School. The pancake breakfast at the Camden Lions Club. The Camden Lions Club is having this morning. It will go on until 10 a.m. All you can eat for $5. Until next week, have a good week, everybody.
For more than 85 years, Apex Bank of Camden has built a tradition of local people serving